Hey guys, welcome back. This is Addicted Ace here, and we are back playing Jurassic Park Trespasser. This is Level 2, Jungle Road. Now, in the last episode, we ended up jumping off of the Atherton Causeway, which is that monorail right there, and that is what makes up the Jungle Road of Isla Sorna. Now, something of note regarding the monorail is Norman Atherton, who Hammond will mention, and who the monorail is named after.
An idea brought me awake one morning in New York. I almost didn't write it down. What if a mosquito sucked the blood of a dinosaur 100 million years ago? The insect is then covered in tree sap, which, over the millennia, becomes amber.
We'll grab this Ruger Red Hawk here. It's only got 6 shots, but it's very powerful. Something about these gun crates, much like the firing range in Episode 1, they make a lot of sense from a gameplay perspective, but if they were going for realism, they really kind of missed the mark on that one. Up here we'll see our second non-hostile dinosaur, Stegosaurus.
The insect is preserved perfectly. But you see, and here's the clever part, wouldn't the dinosaur blood be preserved as well?
You'll notice the animals in this game have a very strange way of motion. That's because this game doesn't use the traditional system of modeling animation, and instead uses inverse kinematics, which is used in robotics to determine a robot's range of motion. I have our first raptor up ahead.
The blood holds DNA, a tiny spiral of genetic code. Abracadabra.
5.
Dropped him. Another thing you may notice as we get further in the game is that the raptors don't actually bite you in this game so much as they kind of shank you with their snout. The reason being is the way damage works with raptors is there's a kind of strip in the mouth that you take damage from on contact. Because of this, it's actually possible to die from a dead raptor if you step on its head too much.
Sunlight angled down through the dusty air in Norman's office, and I leaned against a solid oak table as I outlined my plans for international genetic technologies.
6 left.
357 Magnum.
8 left. 7. 6.
Now he's talking about Norman Atherton in there, and we're going to get in to him in just a bit here. You'll notice that Anne has quite the bit of right arm strength. Some people might question what you're doing with your alone time with that kind of strength in one arm.
4 bullets.
Now, the level continues on that way, but we're going to take a detour over here to check out an overturned InGen vehicle.
It was the flowering of an ambition born 50 years ago. 50 years' struggle come to this.
So, Trespasser takes place 1 year after the incidents of the Lost World. You'll notice the bite marks and claw marks of what appears to be a tyrannosaur.
InGen standard safari vehicle. State of the art. hunters scattered, their prearranged hunting routes forgotten. Only a third of their number appeared at the rendezvous.
Here we see a Browning high-powered rifle next to its former owner, quite possibly Rowan Timbo's friend Ajay. The Browning has 10 shots and it's very accurate. There was one in level 1 on top of a truck, but we skipped over that. And now the tour moves on. So, who is Norman Atherton? Well, Norman Atherton was John Hammond's business partner and chief geneticist for InGen. He and Hammond founded InGen together. There's going to be a raptor up here. Jeez.
6 left.
Oh God, oh God, oh God. Seriously?
3, 2.
Oh my God. Well, that was our first close call.
8 shots.
Actually, you know what? Because I'm going to keep that.
2 shots.
This. And yes, that is a basketball right there. And in a later level, we will... Oh, I'm squishing the blood. In a later level, we'll actually... we may mess around with the basketball.
Empty.
Now here's a Benelli M1 Super 90 shotgun. It's just as powerful as the Spaz, but I find it a little
Looks like 7.
tricky to aim with, and I'll show you why. Because Anne holds it like this, which I don't know how she doesn't break her wrist or breaks her nose. But we're going to stick with the Desert Eagle here.
8 shots.
So, in the early days of InGen, Norman Atherton cloned a dwarf elephant that Hammond was able to carry around in a little, basically like a suitcase, and, you know, put it on the desks of investors that he was, you know, trying to demonstrate the capabilities of InGen. But Norman Atherton died of heart cancer before InGen started cloning dinosaurs, and his student, Henry Wu, became InGen's new chief geneticist. Keep following these pylons here. And then we will see our third non-hostile dinosaur, Triceratops. And it'll get ambushed by these 2 raptors, but the Triceratops will actually can actually kill these things. The raptors typically won't bother you unless you get too close to them. So let's see if we can just let them do their own little thing here. Let's see if it takes them down. Oh God, come over here. We will check the status of those on the way back. Oh, yep, see? He killed that one. Oh, he killed both of them. Nice. Now, the level actually continues on this way, but we're going to take a detour over this hill. We find what's known as the Plantation House, which was a level that was cut from the game, and the developers kind of merged the assets from that level into this one. So this Plantation House obviously would have been here long before InGen ever came to the island. We got another raptor here. Just kind of stuck in motion. There we go.
7.
Dead. Now over here, we see something that looks just like a dinosaur bone. But can't really tell what this is. There's no skull or anything. But yes, this is the plantation house. This is what's left of the stables. Nothing really in here. Not really sure what happened to it. It could have just fallen into disrepair from age, or there's a possibility that it just kind of burned down. But there are a couple of interesting things inside here. So that, quite possibly the door that Maisie was hiding in. Come on. And I'm going to drop that right there. Cool thing that it's a little hidden door here. If we open this, we will see.
Feels full.
This is the Calico MP50. It is a god-awful weapon, but it does hold 100 rounds. So the low damage doesn't really matter if you're accurate enough into pumping dinosaurs full of it. And then here we have a gold ingot. This doesn't really, the MP50 doesn't really make a lot of sense for being in here because of the age of this house. Highly unlikely that someone would have an automatic machine gun in here. There is a rifle there. I don't exactly remember which what that rifle is. Matter of fact, we might be able to hop over here. Okay, we got it. I don't remember exactly.
Looks like 20.
What this is supposed to be. Ah, damn it! My boobs are red. We'll come back up here. And then here we have a map of the Muertes archipelago. The 5 deaths, Las Cinco Muertes. The islands of the 5 deaths are Isla Matanceros, Isla Muertas, Isla Pena, Isla Sorna,
6 left.
and Isla Tuncaño. Las Cinco Muertes comes from a Native American myth about a brave warrior facing a different execution on each of the 5 islands: burning, drowning, crushing, hanging, and beheading. InGen owned all of the 5 deaths in addition to Isla Nublar, but Isla Sorna is the only one of the 5 deaths inhabited by dinosaurs. Now here we have another non-hostile dinosaur, the Parasaurolophus. And if you'll notice the unique skin pattern on this does not look like what you saw in the Lost World film. This is a lot more similar to what you saw in, if anyone has ever seen or been to Jurassic Cafe at Universal Studios, that is what that design comes from. And if we continue along this path, we got another skeleton here that appears to be a T-Rex, based off of the skull shape. I don't believe a herbivore would have teeth like that. Now, if we follow this little riverbed all the way down here, this is, again, this is an area of the map. It's completely out of the way from where you would go if you were traveling just the direct route through the level. But this was a portion of, this was another level that they just kind of merged some of the assets together with.
8 shots. 8 shots.
If you follow this down, you'll end up, this will kind of go almost directly vertical, where you would have been able to continue on throughout another level. But yeah, we'll just grab these Spaz 12 shotguns, and we're gonna go along this way. So, back to Norman Atherton. You know, why is he important? Well, Atherton is only ever mentioned in the first book, the events of which take place in 1989. And as we saw in the last episode, the Atherton Causeway was meant to be opened in 1990. In the Hammond memoirs that we're listening to, Hammond speaks of the events of Jurassic Park taking place in 89, like the book, instead of 93, the film. And he speaks of the events of the Lost World as taking place in 97, like the film, instead of 93, like the book. And this, of course, leads to some of the biggest issues when it comes to canon and when it comes to continuity in the canon. Because if Trespasser is meant to be a prequel to the first film as well as a sequel to the second, the monorail should have already been completed. And another issue that we see is that in the films, Northern Atherton is actually Benjamin Lockwood. Now, in defense of Trespasser, that was Universal Jurassic World's team's doing.
Are you hungry? Take a bite. Come on, I won't hurt you. Mommy! Daddy, you're supposed to come see this! I found something!
So, this area here is what's known as Kathy's Beach. Now, in the original game, before they cut out this, Kathy's Beach actually looked a lot more similar to what you saw in the film. But this was cut out and just kind of merged into this game so that you could still see it. But so Kathy is she's a little girl who was attacked by compies in the beginning of the first film. And she's basically the reason, that event kind of sparked a lot of the events of the film, The Lost World. The reason that InGen is going to the island, because, that's something that's just, that incident is just yet another thing pushing the company towards filing for bankruptcy yet again. So that sparked a lot of, the events of The Lost World Jurassic Park. But in this episode, I want to start talking about John Hammond and some of the differences between his character in the films versus the novels. Because if you've read the novels and you've watched the films, you know that Hammond's character differs dramatically between them. In the films, on the surface, Hammond seems to be the sweet old man who just wants to bring the dinosaurs back from extinction for the world to see and enjoy via Jurassic Park. In The Lost World, he appears to want to protect the dinosaurs and stop InGen, which he lost control of after the incident with Kathy and her family stumbling onto the island. He wants to stop InGen from exploiting the dinosaurs after that. This game it's kind of insane how much they were able to put in this. I mean, I know from 2022 standards this is not impressive, but for 98...
I rode south along the coast, bus stationed in the early morning, eating vending machine food in the fluorescent light, stepping out of the bus in Mexico City. I shouldered my knapsack, felt the heat wash over me. It was good to be alone, to be nobody for a while.
So we're about ready to continue on with the level here, but there's one more thing that I want to show you. and it's right up this hill. So I was telling you about the Native American myth that the 5 deaths are named after. Well, long ago on Isla Sorna, it used to be inhabited by Mayans, and this is the first of many ruins that we will see on the island. Don't know what this is because it just seems to have fallen into disrepair, but this is one of the first of many that we'll see here. And now we will continue on. Have the option to try to contact some help down here.
A phone. Oh, thank God.
The main switchboard is temporarily unattended. Please contact your supervisor. La computadora principal está temporalmente fuera de servicio. Por favor, contacte a su supervisor.
Seven. 6.
Jeez.
Six left.
Well, come on. Push. Very good. Push. Push. But back to Hammond. In the novels, Hammond is a very mean and greedy businessman who only wants to get rich from his cloned dinosaurs, and he will stop at nothing to see the park opened so that this can happen. Another example of his character is he even finds his daughter's divorce to be,
5.
a damned inconvenience.
4. 3. 2. 1.
Jesus. Well, that only took... Oh, my God. Now, Hammond basically has to babysit his kids while, he's trying to... he's got to get the endorsements from Grant and Malcolm just so that he can open the park.
8 left.
But he uses this kind of as an advantage to...
7.
He kind of uses his grandkids as an advantage because unlike the films where Dr. Grant didn't like kids, in the novels, Dr. Grant loved kids. And Hammond knows that the kids are going to be just in total shock and awe at the wonder of these animals that he's brought back to life. And that's only going to make, getting Grant's endorsement that much easier. And Grant will be able to see the looks on the kids' faces when they see these animals. Oh, I missed a... It didn't fall down here. There's an MPK-5 submachine gun up there, but it's not a huge deal that we missed it. But both in the films and the novels, Hammond needs
6 left.
Grant's approval, his endorsement, just to be able to open the park because his investors are threatening to pull back because of how many deaths these animals have caused.
6 left.
If you pay close attention to the films, Hammond is seemingly good-natured character is an act. Hammond doesn't even like Malcolm. He states this in the first film when Malcolm is knuckle-tapping the camera in the tour vehicle after so many dinosaur no-shows. He's tapping the camera and saying, so eventually you do plan to have dinosaurs on this dinosaur tour, right? And Hammond's watching from a monitor in the visitor center, and he literally says, "I really hate that man."
A lost world is a sort of scientific myth, an evolutionary scenario in which an ecosystem is isolated and preserved. The rest of the world changes, leaving a tiny, fragile pocket where ancient species survive.
Yada, yada, yada. 5. Three.
Well, Hammond's opinion of Malcolm didn't change between the events of the first film and the second film any more than they changed. His opinions of opening the park changed when him and Dr. Sattler were sitting at the table eating ice cream with the power out, when he says, you know, when we have control again, and Ellie's trying to get through to him saying you never had control. You know, his opinion didn't change between that moment and the moment when he's patching up Malcolm's leg towards the end of the film, saying, you know, next time it'll be different. You know, all theme parks have delays. You know, it's just a delay. You know, he still didn't like Malcolm from that point.
4 shots.
I'll just show you.
Lindstrat guns, by the way, Swedish made, unbeatable for accuracy and rate of fire.
So the Lindstrike, this handgun, as well as another Lindstrike weapon, the Lindstrike air rifle.
4.
We'll see in the
3
we'll
left.
see later. These are one of only
2.
Oh Jesus!
2 shots.
Oh, gotta get away!
In the winter we began building the supports for the elevated transit system that would unify the island. Concrete towers rose through the jungle canopy.
Empty. That's it.
Yeah, I'm still almost dead. Don't know that it's worth it to try to get that back. I could have been smarter about that. Now, you don't have to follow this, but it's just a lot safer to just get up here. But Hammond still doesn't like Malcolm. You know, Hammond needs Malcolm just as he needed Dr. Grant in the first film. He needs Malcolm's voice of reason and articulation, along with the complete photo record of the animals alive and in their natural habitats, to stop InGen from exploiting the animals. He tells Malcolm, it's our last chance for redemption. But
Curving up out of the southern basin, the Atherton Causeway would bring visiting scientists north from the southern beach.
Malcolm wouldn't need... Oh, God. Malcolm wouldn't need redemption if Hammond had spoke up after Grant and Malcolm wrote books about the events of Jurassic Park and said,
Wow.
yeah,
They certainly were serious about their monorail.
and said, yes, all of that is true. I mean, why would he? He was still in control of InGen at the time, so that doesn't work in his best interest. Hammond's nephew, Peter Ludlow, only recently took control of InGen. He only recently ousted him from InGen at the beginning of the Lost World film. But it's not that Hammond's against building a park. He's against not being a part of it. He wants to be the one remembered for bringing the dinosaurs back from extinction, as his legacy. He doesn't want a company that he no longer controls to take all the credit from that. Even in the opening cutscene of this game, he says, it's an achievement to rank with the achievements or the works. It's an achievement to rank with the works of Galileo or Einstein. Malcolm tells Hammond at the beginning of the film, if you want to put your name on something, fine, but stop putting it on people's headstones. So that's why Hammond wants to stop InGen. He wants to set the record straight that he is the one who created these animals. That's why he enlists the help of Nick Van Owen to sabotage InGen's work, which that alone resulted in the deaths of many InGen hunters. Now, some might recall the ending of the Lost World film where it says these animals need our absence to survive, not our help. I guess I have to go this way. This is an act to make Hammond look better. Hammond's not against building another park. He doesn't have the time to build another park. And now that he's lost control of InGen, he doesn't have the resources to build another park. All Hammond has is just enough time to build his legacy. In Jurassic World, Simon Masrani tells Claire, John Hammond entrusted me with his dying wish. He never mentioned profits. Spare no expense. All right, we are going to save the game here because I do not like the look of that. Something from the Lost World. Let's do. Let's see. Mommy, Daddy, I found something. But Masrani tells Claire that, Hammond entrusted me with his dying wish. He never mentioned profits, spare no expense, just like he says in the films. But why would Hammond care? Of course Hammond doesn't care about profits. He's going to be dead. Like, you can't, what good is money when you're not around? The only thing he cares about, what the hell, is his legacy. Maybe a part of him really did want the world to see the dinosaurs, but the biggest part of him wanted to the world to be reminded of him because oh my god, the world may have forgotten about him had the islands remained isolated and closed off, rather than, creating a big theme park where everyone can come and see them. I mean, otherwise people would know that the dinosaurs existed, but, it's not going to be a major part of their lives, and people can't go there to document the animals. So, we'll continue this conversation in the next one. This is going to be the end of this level. So, that was the end of level 2, Jungle Road. Do give a like and subscribe, and if you're interested in seeing this gameplay completed. And in the comments, I want you to tell me what you think so far about my analysis of the character of John Hammond. You know, do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm wrong? Do you have a different view on him? I would love to hear your comments. I'd love to have a conversation about it. So now let's create a new saved file. Let's see, another quote from the Lost World. They call the islands Los Cinco Muertos. Or is that a... yeah. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.